Yay, we're live. So how are you doing? Welcome to this video. And how are you doing, my dear? I've been feeling this morning, just really grateful to be alive and for all the blessings in my life. I think maybe it had to do with the beautiful sunny day here earlier. And I do hope that you're well. So last week I held my masterclass, which went down a storm. And in case you missed it, I'm going to be sharing one of the topics that we talked about there. And in case we don't know each other, I'm Una Alexander, and I help you radically love your child to happiness and naturally great behavior so that you can all enjoy a calm, relaxed, happy family life. And so this topic that I want to talk about with you today is really my top parenting tip of all time. I think it really underpins everything else that I talk about. And so what is it? It's trust. It's trust your child. Trust that they'll find their way, and trust that they'll find their way and that they'll cope with their life and their challenges. So I always have to put in a caveat at this point that when I say trust, I really don't mean like trust them with dangerous things, with hot pans, or trust them, with roads before they're ready and so on. So it's not about, and it's also not about kind of laissez-faire parenting. We just leave it all up to them. No, of course, children need us to guide them and support them, or every step of the way, really. But underneath all that, underpinning all that, an attitude of trust is just so helpful. So what do I mean by trust? Well, I looked it up, and a dictionary definition is believe in the ability of another. So believe in the ability of your child to find their way and to cope with life's difficulties and to turn out okay, right? Just to turn out okay, to do well with all the meanderings in between. And also I'd like to add to that, to believe in your child's best intentions. So why? Why is it a good idea to trust our children? Well, firstly, because it makes sense. The child psychologist Ross Green says, kids do well when they can. He always repeats it, kids do well when they can. And that makes so much sense to me. Kids really do well when they can. And when their behavior is challenging, it's because they're feeling challenged. So you might as well trust that your child is doing well when they can and if they can. And secondly, trusting our children turns us into happier parents. It's so much easier to be calm, be loving, be all the things we want to be as parents when we're trusting our children. And it's really the kind of antidote to parental worry, parental guilt, rage, resentment, all the things that we can feel and have towards our children. Trust is the great antidote. And thirdly, trusting our children is just such a great message to them. It's so fantastic to feel that someone believes in your ability and believes in your best intentions, isn't it? Can you think of times when you felt trusted by someone? What does it feel like to feel someone's trust? It's such a warm feeling, such a good feeling. It makes you feel confident and open and gives you trust in yourself, in fact. It helps children be confident when we trust them fundamentally to be okay and to be doing their best. So what happens if we don't trust, when the opposite occurs? So what happens is that we tend to panic. And I don't know if you recognize this, but very often we jump straight to kind of dreadful future scenarios where our children are kind of have no friends, have no job, are kind of outcasts because we've failed to help them with a specific problem like their anger. So when they have an anger outburst, we can be very quick to kind of to worry that they need to be solving their anger issue, or that we should have done better, or to kind of, yeah, to put that pressure on, to have that kind of panicky energy around it, that something's not right and this shouldn't be happening. And then there's also the what will people think um, kind of line of thought that tends to come up as well. What will people think if they see this rude behavior, this angry behavior, or whatever it is? So we put extra pressure on ourselves and extra pressure on our children. And this is what causes us situations to escalate. This is what causes us to lose our cool. And so it's actually not our children's behavior really that causes us to lose our cool. It's our panicky thoughts and reactions. So that's why trust is so important, because it helps us respond, how we want to respond, in a calm way, in a kind way. And so finally, how can we put trust into action? Well, first of all, just like to say that everything I teach, all the strategies I teach, all the mindset shifts that I teach, and the stories that I tell will help you trust your child more. So keep reading, keep watching, keep showing up for my free events, and reach out to me with a question if you have one. Secondly, you can identify, for a practical step, you can identify an area where you could stand back and give your child more space and time to work things out for themselves. You could just stand back and find an area. So I'm going to give you a few examples. So the first example is around how much they eat. So if you're finding that you're doing the, just one more mouthful thing, or you're pressing your child to eat a little bit more, why not let it go? Why not trust them and their appetite? Because this has been shown to support healthy eating and healthy appetites over and over again. Secondly, trust your child. Find a way, an area I'll start again. Let your child do it their way. Find an area where you could let them do it their way, where it's safe to do so, of course. So, for example, if your child is in that stage where they like to mix all the colours till they get a kind of brown sludge, so be it. Trust them and their learning process with that. They will find their way. And thirdly, sibling squabbles. Trust your children to find their way. Trust them more to find their way with their siblings and the squabbles that they have. So mums that I work with, they find they have a lot of success with sibling squabbles simply by not intervening, or not intervening so soon, not intervening until it's absolutely necessary. And they find that the children work things out for themselves. So I hope that's helpful. The what's, whys and hows of trust. And trust is one of my 6 wise parenting powers. And the 6 of them together give you the overview of the powers that you have as a parent who is choosing not to use the old traditional methods of control to run your family. And you can get the overview in my document, in my guide, Solve the Struggle with Your Kids. And that you can download on unaalexander.co.uk/solve the struggle. So all the best to you. Bye.